It's April 20th, 2020, and this is No Sports Day 39. I'd like to discuss the differences between starting and stopping society, two things that we're about to experience here, unfortunately, back to back. Also, social distancing tolerances, not just how far apart physically we should be keeping from each other, but also tolerances of when to uphold these rules versus some people just deciding to let them slide arbitrarily. We'll get into that. Also, last but not least, how will we even relate to each other anymore once the distance requirements are gone? Right? We've been physically separated and isolated so long. When we do come back together, how exactly is that going to go? Let's begin with starting versus stopping society. I actually thought, back when all of this was just getting underway, that shutting everything down, stopping society basically on a dime, would be the hard part. Because it's unprecedented. At least in our generation, how many times has everything across the board been forced to shut down? Well, not everything, and that's part of the challenge too, right? Figuring out what is essential, what jobs still need to happen, what workers still need to do their jobs. How do you take care of workers who are working from home or who can't possibly work from home? How do we assure the essentials? Food, gas, electricity. There's so many things that go into drawing lines. How exactly do we do this? And not just from a business perspective. How about people trying to figure out their new normal? Like I said, I thought that would be the hard part. But it turns out in reverse, all of that wasn't terribly challenging. There was some pushback here and there, but all of that seemed to get sorted out pretty quickly. As opposed to trying to figure out how to now restart everything. There's so many ideas, beliefs, situations, opinions. I think what everybody should agree on is that you don't want to put in all this work to flatten the curve in many regions. And then to just let it revert because you wanted to get out of it too early. It's like running a half marathon or a marathon or even a 5K. At some point, your body says, I don't know if you can do this anymore. And there's the devil on one side and the angel on the other. And the devil's like, hey, I think you could just pull aside here. You're done. You've done enough. And I don't know if it's the angel telling you this, but somebody is pushing you forward to say, you know what? You have to do what's right and what's best for everybody here. Keep going. You've got this. You've come this far. Don't let it fall short. People like football? Okay. I'll give you this example. You just pulled off an 87-yard drive. And do you really want to endure a goal line stand where you didn't score? Didn't even get a field goal out of it? You've come all this way. Punch it across the goal line. Do whatever you have to do. Now, with that said, I know some of you out there are screaming at the screen right now because you're saying, yeah, but I can't afford for society to be shut down this long. And I'm with you. I get it. Because if you're telling me right now that you'd like to see things get going again due to survival of either yourself or your business, you need paychecks, you need to pay rent, you need health care that's covered by your job, I totally understand and I feel you. Because if you're someone who feels actually comfortable about the economy and your job situation right now or your business, if you feel comfortable or great about how things are right now, good for you. But you are far, far in the minority on that feeling. So I understand it. If you're telling me it's about survival that we need to get things going again. On the flip side, if you're telling me that we need to get things going again because of tradition, boredom, politics, I don't vibe with that at all. You have to find a way to fight through the end of this. Let's move on to social distancing tolerances, and it's becoming apparent there are some out there who just cannot, for whatever reason, comply with what's being asked of them. Put on a mask. Stay 6 feet away from people. Don't encroach, right? Isn't it weird when you're taking a walk and somebody's coming your direction and you're playing chicken with them all of a sudden, like by just walking closer to each other? I think at this point, if you can't follow instructions blatantly in society, what are you? You're either entitled, you're feeling entitled, or you're just flat out ignorant to the situation. And the longer this goes, the less people should misunderstand it. If this were a couple weeks ago or a month ago, okay, it's all rather new. We're all figuring out how to let this settle in. But at this point, we are well established into, unfortunately, what has become our new normal. And so the tolerances should get lower. The tolerance for understanding, right? I'll understand if you didn't get it this time. Okay, the tolerance has to get tighter. I don't understand anymore if you still don't get it. Or if you've decided on your own that things are okay and you can just kind of freelance and freewheel to your own rules. I mean, staying 6 feet away, it's generally not that hard. Generally. I'm not saying all situations. Generally, it's not that hard. Wear a mask. Keep your dog on a leash outside. Take account of your kids. Where are they? What are they doing? Young kid, teenager. It's part of the job of being a parent. They are your responsibility. And kind of what I fear in all this is that people see progress and then they want to take chances. While the curve is flattened here in California, there's no need to really follow every rule. We'll have that small birthday party and, we'll have it, not take any pictures, not post anything, but we'll have it and it's fine. Nobody will ever know. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just follow every single rule? Interpreting the news your own way and then acting accordingly is not how it works. It's as simple as that. So, social distancing tolerances, they've been explained. The rules are pretty much out there. There's not a whole lot of gray area in between. And so following them should also not include much gray area, especially the longer this goes. The more we should understand it. All right, last but obviously not least, how do we even relate to each other anymore? Now, I realize a lot of people have seen their friends from a distance, across the street, maybe through a front window of the house. They've done it responsibly, and I do admire that. It is so different, and it is so weird. Think about anybody that you don't see in person for a month, or 2 or 3 at a time, that you're used to seeing on a daily basis. It's very different. It's kind of shocking to the system almost. But I think what's most important about how we relate to each other, not just in these times, but also moving forward, you need to have some optimism. People need to be kind to each other. That's obvious, especially right now. You don't really know what the other person or other people are dealing with. Everybody is going through this differently. At the same time, though, I think to be overly cheery and overly optimistic and trying to present as if everything is normal, I don't know that that helps the cause. I think what people need to do right now is be respectful. That's the number one thing. I know be kind it's hard to top as number one. But maybe 1A should just be a respectful approach, because you don't necessarily know how the other person's doing and what they're dealing with and what they're going through. And so I think respect as a catch-all approach might be the best way to go about things right now, instead of trying to paint a glorious picture that everything's okay. It is April 20th, 2020. This has been No Sports, Day 39.